Welcome to History Hive YouTube channel. In this video we will talk about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is one of the most pressing issues of our time. It is a crisis that has been ongoing for years, and it is only getting worse. The people of Gaza are facing immense suffering due to the ongoing conflict, economic deprivation, and the COVID-19 pandemic. The situation is dire, with limited access to basic necessities such as food, water, and healthcare. The world cannot ignore the plight of the people of Gaza any longer. We need to take urgent action to address this crisis and provide much-needed aid to those who are suffering. In this blog post, we will explore the current situation in Gaza, the root causes of the crisis, and what we can do to help alleviate the suffering of the people of Gaza. Introduction to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Introduction to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Gaza, a small strip of land located on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea, has been plagued by a severe humanitarian crisis for years. The ongoing conflict and political instability have resulted in dire consequences for the people living in this densely populated region. With limited access to essential resources, widespread poverty, and a healthcare system on the verge of collapse, the situation demands urgent attention and action from the international community. The root causes of the crisis can be traced back to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which has led to a series of devastating wars and a protracted blockade imposed on Gaza. The blockade severely restricts the movement of goods, including vital supplies such as food, medicine, and fuel, leaving the population struggling to meet their basic needs. Unemployment rates are alarmingly high, leaving families without stable incomes and pushing them into a cycle of poverty and despair. The impact on healthcare is particularly concerning. Hospitals and medical facilities in Gaza are operating with limited resources, struggling to provide adequate care to the growing number of patients. Chronic shortages of medication, equipment, and electricity have resulted in a healthcare system that is unable to meet the overwhelming demand. The lack of access to specialized treatments and medical expertise further exacerbates the suffering of those in need. Moreover, the humanitarian crisis has taken a toll on the mental health of the population, especially children who have grown up amidst conflict and violence. The constant fear, trauma, and lack of stability have had a devastating impact on their well-being and future prospects. The education system also suffers from the crisis, with schools facing overcrowding, limited resources, and frequent disruptions due to the volatile security situation. It is crucial that immediate action is taken to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The international community must come together to provide much-needed aid, lift the blockade, and work towards a sustainable solution that ensures the rights and dignity of the people of Gaza. By raising awareness, advocating for change, and supporting organizations on the ground, we can help alleviate the suffering and bring hope to the people who have endured far too much for far too long. Understanding the root causes of the crisis. To effectively address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, it is crucial to have a deep understanding of its root causes. This complex situation has been shaped by a multitude of factors, including political, economic, and social dynamics. Historically, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict plays a significant role in the crisis. Decades of unresolved disputes, territorial disputes, and security concerns have resulted in a tense and fragile environment, leading to recurrent escalations of violence and restrictions on movement. The ongoing Israeli blockade, which has been in place since 2007, has severely limited the flow of goods, services, and resources into Gaza, exacerbating the crisis. The internal political divisions between Palestinian factions, primarily between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, have further complicated the situation. These divisions have hindered effective governance and coordination, making it challenging to implement long-term solutions and deliver adequate services to the population. The dire socio-economic conditions in Gaza have also contributed to the crisis. The high unemployment rate, limited access to essential services such as healthcare and education, and widespread poverty have created a sense of hopelessness among the population. The lack of basic infrastructure, including reliable electricity and clean water, further compounds the challenges faced by the people of Gaza. Understanding these root causes is crucial for developing effective strategies to address the crisis in Gaza. It requires a comprehensive approach that includes diplomatic efforts, economic development initiatives, and humanitarian aid to alleviate the suffering of the people and promote long-term stability in the region. Urgent action is needed from the international community and relevant stakeholders to bring about positive change and improve the lives of the people in Gaza. The impact of the crisis on the lives of Gazans. The ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza has had a devastating impact on the lives of its residents. The region has been subjected to years of conflict, political instability, and economic deprivation, leaving its population in a state of desperation and despair. One of the most significant consequences of the crisis is the dire living conditions faced by the people of Gaza. Basic necessities such as clean water, food, and healthcare are increasingly scarce, leaving thousands of individuals struggling to survive. The lack of access to adequate medical facilities and supplies has resulted in a healthcare system on the brink of collapse, with many patients unable to receive the treatment they desperately need. The education sector has also been severely affected, with schools and educational institutions struggling to function amidst the turmoil. Children and young adults are being denied their right to education, hindering their development and future prospects. The constant fear and trauma experienced by individuals, particularly children, have had a profound impact on their mental well-being, leaving lasting scars that may take years to heal. The impact of the crisis on the lives of Gazans cannot be overstated. Urgent action is needed to address the root causes of the crisis and alleviate the suffering of this vulnerable population. The international community must come together to provide humanitarian aid, advocate for the rights of the Gazan people, and work towards a lasting resolution that ensures their safety, dignity, and well-being. Time is of the essence, and failure to act swiftly will only deepen the tragedy and prolong the suffering of the people of Gaza. Lack of access to basic necessities, food, water, and healthcare. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has reached a critical point, with a lack of access to basic necessities becoming a pressing concern. The situation has led to widespread suffering and a desperate need for urgent action. One of the most alarming aspects of this crisis is the limited availability of food, water, and healthcare. Many families are struggling to secure enough food to sustain themselves, leading to malnutrition and hunger among vulnerable populations. The scarcity of clean drinking water exacerbates the problem, as access to safe and reliable sources is severely limited. In addition to the challenges in obtaining food and water, the healthcare system in Gaza is under immense strain. Hospitals and medical facilities are overwhelmed, lacking essential supplies, and struggling to provide adequate care to those in need. The lack of access to proper healthcare services has resulted in preventable deaths and the worsening of chronic illnesses. The international community must recognize the urgency of this situation and take immediate action to address these fundamental needs. Providing sufficient humanitarian aid, including food, water, and medical supplies, is crucial to alleviate the suffering of the people in Gaza. Furthermore, long-term solutions must be pursued to ensure sustainable access to these basic necessities. This includes investing in infrastructure and systems that can support the delivery of essential services, as well as addressing the root causes of the crisis. Thanks for watching. Kindly like and subscribe to this YouTube channel and don't forget to turn on the notification button for more amazing videos.